Sometimes a person perhaps needs something warm, like a stew. And in the search for always new, beautiful recipes for you, we have found something again in Grandma's cookbook. Today we are making a delicious Holsteiner potato stew. Action. What would a potato stew be without potatoes? You should definitely use waxy potatoes, such as Yukon Gold or Red Bliss, for example, because we don't want the potatoes to melt. They should remain as pieces in the stew so that we actually get a clear stew where you can still recognize the broth. Additionally, we need a standard vegetable bundle. And that raises the question for me why my vendor then literally added cauliflower to it. But so be it. We will process that. A bit of fresh parsley, the mettenden. And the question one asks is, what do we fill the whole thing with? I have an absolutely perfect broth here. Recently made vitello tonato. The video is currently being displayed here. This is how we got this really incredibly good broth. Anyone who has vegetable broth at home can of course use that as well. So, we start with the vegetables. Carmen, thank you for peeling them for me already. And for the vegetables, we can already think about what pieces we would like to have. I don't care at all how you cut it. You can cut it into fine cubes or, as we are doing here, to coarse pieces. What's important is that once you've decided, you should stick to this size so that one piece doesn't overcook while the other is still raw. So, draw your line. And I've already chopped the cauliflower and leek. We'll add those later because their cooking time is significantly shorter. We start with celery and carrot, and we just saute them a bit to bring out the flavor. Immediately season with salt and pepper. Attention, at this point it must be mentioned, you should add enough salt and pepper so that the ratio is correct later, because it ultimately depends on your broth. Using mine is so brilliant, we don't need to put much in here. Balance it out. If you have a weaker broth, you need to add more salt and pepper here. Saute, and in the meantime, we can start cutting the potatoes. And also with the potatoes, try to cut them just somewhat evenly. It's not rocket science, but a little attention to it helps. 1,000 certainly won't hurt our stew. So, the celery and carrot have gained a bit of shine. Now we can add the cauliflower and leeks as well. Just saute briefly as well. Carmen, what do you think of my little silicone mat? Practical, right? Really great. Saute everything together once. So the potatoes are in now too. That already looks a bit like stew. And of course the potatoes don't need much heat here as they will absorb it from our flavorful broth. And we fill our stew up to the point that everything is just barely covered. So you see, it fits perfectly. Now we wait for the vegetables and potatoes to cook. And at the last moment, we add the sausages. We still have a bit of time to chop the washed parsley. And every time I chop parsley, I have to remember my old master. A long, long time ago. And he always said back then, and I want to emphasize that it is just a quote, "Every ox is happy about something green." My vegetables in the broth have now cooked for 10 minutes. Now we add the sausages. Because the sausages, our mettenden, also add flavor to the whole dish. And they need to cook as well. Another 10 minutes of patience and then we drum for dinner. It's stew time. After a few minutes, we have a stew. And I think it looks really good already. Just that alone is good. Everything is on point. Nothing is overcooked. Freshly chopped parsley on top. What absolutely must not be missing for me, 1 or 2 sausages on top. Pure cooking time. Once you have the broth, a maximum of half an hour with chopping. Give it a try. You will be satisfied. I promise you. If you like it, thumbs up it. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. We are excited. In this sense, warm greetings from Hamburg, and Carmen sends you a message. We love you. Bye. Sweet.